They made me cook Thanksgiving dinner for 23 people. Not asked. Made. My aunt handed me the shopping list at 6 a.m. Like I was hired help, not family. My cousins laughed when I said I had plans. What plans? Jessica smirked. It's not like you have anywhere better to be. I didn't argue. I just smiled and started planning the meal they'd never forget. Because what they didn't know, what none of them knew, was that they were celebrating Thanksgiving in my house. The house my grandmother left me. The house they'd been using like a free vacation rental for 3 years. The house I was about to take back. My name is Mia Santos, 34 years old, a corporate attorney who learned early that the loudest people at family gatherings are usually the ones contributing the least. I have dark brown hair I keep in a no-nonsense ponytail, sharp eyes that my grandmother used to call lawyer eyes, and the kind of calm demeanor that makes people mistake patience for weakness. My extended family made that mistake for years. They're about to learn the difference. My grandmother, Rosa Santos, died 3 years ago. She left me her house, a beautiful 3-bedroom craftsman in the suburbs with a wraparound porch, mature oak trees, and enough space to host the family gatherings she'd loved so much. The will was clear. The house was mine. But there was a clause. A clause my grandmother added because she knew her other children would fight over the property. The clause said, Mia may not sell, rent, or alter the primary use of the property for 5 years following my death. The house must remain available for family gatherings during this time. My grandmother thought she was preserving family tradition. What she actually did was turn me into unpaid labor. Because available for family gatherings somehow translated to Mia will host, cook, clean, and serve while everyone else enjoys themselves. It started small. My Aunt Patricia, my grandmother's oldest daughter and the self-appointed family matriarch, suggested we host Thanksgiving at Rosa's house the year after the funeral. It would honor her memory, Patricia said, dabbing at tears that disappeared the moment she thought no one was looking. I agreed. It seemed like a nice way to remember my grandmother. I didn't realize it was a test. That first Thanksgiving, I made 1 turkey and some sides. Patricia brought wine. My uncle brought his kids. Everyone else brought appetites. By the second year, the expectations had grown. Mia, can you make that stuffing Grandma used to make? Mia, we're bringing the Johnsons. Is that okay? Mia, make sure there's enough food. Last year we ran out of rolls. By the 3rd year, I was cooking for 23 people. Buying all the groceries, setting the table, serving the food, cleaning up afterward while everyone else retired to the living room for coffee and pie I'd also made. No one offered to help. No one asked what I wanted. No one even thanked me. They just showed up, ate, and left, like I was the hired help. This year was going to be different. The grocery list arrived via text from Patricia at 6 a.m. on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Not a request. A list. Turkey 25 pounds, stuffing ingredients, 10 pounds potatoes, green beans, cranberry sauce, homemade, not canned, 3 pies, pumpkin, apple, pecan, rolls fresh baked, wine, 4 bottles red, 3 white. The list went on for 2 pages. At the bottom, thanks, can't wait, don't forget Grandma's tamales, and risen day. I stared at my phone for a long time. Grandma's tamales took 4 hours to make. 4 hours of standing, rolling, steaming. Patricia knew this. She just didn't care. I typed back, I'll handle everything. Then I opened my laptop and started making a different kind of list. Not groceries. Documents. Over the next 3 days, I gathered every piece of paper related to my grandmother's house. The deed, in my name. The will, explicitly leaving the property to me. The property tax records showing I'd paid every cent for 3 years. The utility bills all in my name, all paid by me. The homeowner's insurance, in my name. The mortgage payoff statement, showing the house was owned free and clear. Every receipt for repairs I'd made. Every invoice for maintenance. Every canceled check for the gardener, the plumber, the roofer. 3 years of expenses. $47,000 in property taxes alone. Another $28,000 in repairs and maintenance, $15,000 in utilities, $90,000 total that I'd paid out of pocket to maintain the house my family treated like a free event venue. I created a folder labeled Property Documentation, printed 3 copies, put one in my safe deposit box, kept one in my office. and placed one in a manila envelope that I tucked into the sideboard in the dining room, right next to where I'd be serving Thanksgiving dinner. Then I did something I'd never done before. I called my grandmother's attorney. Martin Reyes had handled her estate and knew every detail of the will. "Mia," he said when he picked up. "How are you? I have a question about the property clause. The 5-year restriction? Yes. It says the house must remain available for family gatherings. Does that mean I have to host them?" A pause. "No. It means the house must be available, not that you must provide free catering and maid service. So I can charge for expenses? You own the house outright, Mia. You can do whatever you want. The clause just prevents you from selling it or converting it to non-residential use during the 5-year period. Can I revoke access? You're the sole owner. You can revoke access to anyone at any time for any reason." I felt something shift in my chest. Even family. Especially family. The house is yours, not theirs. I thanked him and hung up. Then I started planning the menu. Thanksgiving morning arrived cold and bright. I woke at 5 a.m., made coffee, and started cooking. Not because I had to, because I wanted this to be perfect. The turkey went in the oven at 6:30. Potatoes were peeled and boiling by 8. Stuffing assembled by 9. Pies cooling on the counter by 10. By noon, the house smelled like every Thanksgiving I remembered from childhood. Warm, rich, comforting. The kind of smell that makes you think everything is right in the world. Patricia arrived first at 1 p.m., carrying only her purse. "Mia, it smells amazing." "You outdid yourself." She breezed past me into the living room, dropped her coat on the couch, not the coat rack, and called out, "Where's the wine?" I pointed to the dining room. "Help yourself." She did. By 2 p.m., the house was full. 23 people. My Aunt Patricia and Uncle Marco. Their 3 kids, Jessica, Brandon, and Kyle, all in their 20s, all on their phones. My Uncle David and Aunt Linda. Their 4 kids various ages, all running through the house like it was a playground. My cousin Rachel and her husband. My cousin Mike and his girlfriend. My aunt's best friend Carol and her husband. And 6 other assorted relatives and family friends who seemed to think this was a public event. No one brought food. No one offered to help. They just filled the living room, opened my wine, and waited for dinner. At 2:30, Patricia appeared in the kitchen doorway. "How long until we eat? People are getting hungry." I smiled. "Just a few more minutes." "Great. Oh, and can you make sure there's enough cranberry sauce this year? We ran out last time." "I made 3 batches." "Perfect, you're the best." She disappeared. I finished plating the sides, carved the turkey, and arranged everything on serving platters. At 3, I called everyone to the table. They descended like locusts, grabbing seats, reaching for food, filling plates without waiting for anyone else. No one said grace. No one waited for me to sit. They just ate. I stood at the head of the table, watching. Jessica looked up, mouth full of turkey. "Aren't you eating?" "In a minute," I said. "I have something to say first." The chewing slowed. Patricia frowned. "What is it?" I walked to the sideboard and pulled out the manila envelope. "I wanted to thank you all for coming," I said, keeping my voice pleasant. "It means a lot to celebrate Thanksgiving together." Nods around the table. "I also wanted to clarify something that I think has been unclear for the past 3 years." Patricia's frown deepened. I opened the envelope and pulled out the first document. "This is the deed to this house. As you can see, my name is on it. Just mine." I held it up so everyone could see. Silence. "This is my grandmother's will. The section here I pointed explicitly leaves this property to me. Not to the family. To me." More silence. "These are the property tax records for the past 3 years. As you can see, I've paid $47,000 in property taxes." I laid them on the table. "These are utility bills. $15,000 over 3 years. All in my name. All paid by me." Jessica set down her fork. "These are repair invoices. New roof, plumbing, electrical work. $28,000. All paid by me." Brandon's phone was down now. "That's $90,000 I've spent maintaining this house so it could be available for family gatherings, as my grandmother's will required." I looked around the table. "What I haven't spent any money on is feeding 23 people 3 times a year for 3 years. That's an additional $15,000 in groceries, if we're being conservative. Patricia stood. Mia, what are you doing? I'm serving the truth, I said calmly. Because apparently, it's the only dish no one's been able to swallow. My Uncle David cleared his throat. Mia, honey, we appreciate everything you do. Do you? I asked. Because I don't recall anyone saying thank you, or offering to help, or bringing anything other than their appetites. Patricia's face was turning red. This is inappropriate, it's Thanksgiving. You're right, I said. It's Thanksgiving, a day about gratitude. So let me express mine. I pulled out another document. This is a formal notice that, effective immediately, this property is no longer available for family gatherings. Gasps around the table. As the sole owner, I'm revoking access to all individuals who are not immediate occupants. You can't do that, Patricia sputtered. I can. I spoke with Grandma's attorney. The will says the house must remain available for family gatherings. It doesn't say I have to host them, cook for them, or provide free venue space. But Grandma wanted her family to gather, I said. She didn't want her granddaughter to be treated like hired help. Rachel spoke up, voice small. Mia. We didn't mean to make you feel, didn't you? I asked. When's the last time anyone asked how I was doing, or what I wanted, or if I needed help? Silence. When's the last time anyone offered to bring something, or clean up, or even say thank you? More silence. I picked up the documents. I've spent 3 years being invisible labor, cooking, cleaning, hosting, paying for everything, and the only time anyone notices me is when the food isn't ready fast enough. Patricia grabbed her purse. This is ridiculous. Marco, get the kids. We're leaving. Actually, I said, I need everyone to leave. Now. Jessica stood. You're kicking us out? On Thanksgiving? I'm reclaiming my house, I corrected. You're welcome to finish eating. But then I need everyone to go. My Uncle David tried one more time. Mia, I think you're overreacting. Am I? I pulled out one more paper. This is an itemized bill for the past 3 years of Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. Groceries, supplies, my labor at a fair market rate for a private chef. It totals $43,000. His mouth fell open. I'm not asking you to pay it, I said. I'm just making sure you understand what you've been taking for granted. I set the paper on the table. Dinner is over, please leave. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Patricia stood, grabbed her coat, and stormed out. Marco and the kids followed. One by one, they filed out. Some angry, some ashamed, some still holding rolls they'd grabbed on their way to the door. Within 15 minutes, the house was empty. I stood in the dining room, looking at the half-eaten turkey, the scattered plates, the abandoned wine glasses, and I felt something I hadn't felt in 3 years. Peace. I didn't clean up that night. I just poured myself a glass of wine, sat on the front porch, and watched the sun set over the yard my grandmother had loved. The next morning, my phone was full of messages. Patricia, you've torn this family apart. I hope you're happy. Jessica, can't believe you'd ruin Thanksgiving like that. Rachel, I get that you're upset, but that was really harsh. My Uncle David, your grandmother would be ashamed. I deleted them all. Then I called a locksmith. I need all the locks changed, I said. Today if possible. I can have someone there by 2 p.m. Perfect. By evening, every lock on the house was different. Every spare key I'd ever given out was now useless. The house was finally, completely mine. Over the next week, the messages continued. Some angry, some pleading, some trying to guilt me into apologizing. I ignored all of them, until I got one from my cousin Rachel. Mia, I'm sorry. You were right. We took advantage of you. I should have said something. I should have helped. I'm really, truly sorry. I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed back, thank you, I appreciate that. Can we talk? Not yet. Maybe someday. I understand. That was the only message I answered. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my grandmother's attorney. Mia, I heard what happened at Thanksgiving. Word travels fast. Your Aunt Patricia called me. Wanted to know if she could contest your ownership of the house. My stomach dropped. Can she? No, the will is airtight. The house is yours, free and clear. She has no legal standing. I exhaled. Thank God. She also wanted to know if the 5-year clause means you have to let family use the house. And? I told her the same thing I told you. The clause prevents you from selling or altering the use. It doesn't obligate you to host anyone. Thank you. Mia? For what it's worth, I think your grandmother would be proud of you. For kicking out the family? For standing up for yourself. Rosa was a strong woman. She'd want that for you too. When I hung up, I realized he was right. My grandmother had been strong. She'd built a life, raised a family, maintained a home. She'd wanted me to have that same strength. Not to be a doormat for people who took without giving. Christmas came and went. I spent it alone. Made myself a small dinner. Watched old movies. Went to bed early. It was the most peaceful Christmas I'd had in years. In January, I got another message from Rachel. Some of us want to apologize properly. Would you be willing to meet for coffee? I thought about it. Who's us? Me, Kyle, and Brandon. The cousins, not the parents. I agreed. We met at a cafe the following Saturday. Rachel, Kyle, and Brandon all looked uncomfortable. We're sorry, Rachel said immediately. We were terrible. We treated you like staff instead of family. Kyle nodded. I didn't realize how bad it was until you laid it all out. We should have helped. Brandon, the youngest at 24, looked the most ashamed. I never even thought about who was paying for everything. I just showed up and ate. I sipped my coffee. Thank you for saying that. Are you ever going to forgive the family? Rachel asked. I don't know, I said honestly. Right now I'm just trying to figure out what I want my life to look like without being everyone's free labor. That's fair. We talked for another hour. It wasn't reconciliation, but it was something. A start, maybe. By spring, I'd settled into my new normal. The house was quiet. Mine. I hired a cleaning service. Started a garden in the backyard. Repainted the guest room the color I'd always wanted. Bought furniture that was mine, not my grandmother's. Made the space truly my own. Patricia tried calling twice. I didn't answer. My Uncle David sent a card. We miss you. Can we talk? I didn't respond. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. Some family is better loved from a distance. And some houses are meant to be homes, not hotels. 1 year after that Thanksgiving, I hosted a different kind of gathering. Rachel, Kyle, and Brandon. My best friend from law school. 2 colleagues from work. 6 people total. We made dinner together. Everyone contributed. Everyone helped clean up. Everyone said thank you. And when they left, I didn't feel exhausted. I felt grateful. The house my grandmother left me isn't a burden anymore. It's not a free venue for people who don't appreciate it. It's home. And the only people who get to cross the threshold now are the people who understand that love isn't about taking. It's about showing up, not just to eat, but to serve each other, the way families should. My grandmother's will had a 5-year clause. I have 2 years left before I can sell the house if I want to. But I don't think I will. Because this house taught me something my grandmother probably knew all along. The people who show up for the meal aren't always the ones who deserve a seat at the table. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is serve the truth, even if it's the only dish they can't swallow. And sometimes, the family you choose is better than the family you're born into. I chose myself, and I'd make that choice again. Every single time.